Hey everyone, Amanda Craycraft here. I am the founder of Play, Learn, Repeat, and you are currently in week 1 of a 6-week series going through different toddler life skills. This week we're going to be focusing on toddler food prep. So hopefully you were able to catch us on our live this week. We were going over toddler knife skills and cracking eggs. So hopefully you got to join in on the fun. If not, and you are in the event, there is a recording, so make sure you hit that. Otherwise, today we are going to go through 3 parts of this course. I am going to break this up into 3 different videos just so that way it doesn't get too long. We're going to go through independent prep ideas, safety and rhymes, and some games and activities for you to try. I encourage you watch all 3 of these videos. There are a lot of things in here, and I hope that you can just take 1 or 2 things even away, and that would make a big difference in your home. So first and foremost, we're going to start talking about independent prep ideas. So first, what does that mean? This means your kids can actually be helpful, and I don't mean the kind of helpful as in, yeah, they are causing me a lot more time kind of helpful. No, like I mean actually helpful. So we're going to talk about what does that look like, so that way while you're making breakfast in the morning, they can be responsible to get their fruit every single morning. They're getting that done at the same time you're getting everything else prepared. So let's look at that. We're going to break things up into an action, some food examples to support that action, some tips from me, just things that I do with my kiddos, and some skills that you are working on developing while having them assist you in the kitchen. So the first thing we're going to cover is peeling. So the action of peeling is so important for toddlers. I cannot stress this enough. The finger strength that it takes, the dexterity that it takes, is pretty significant. So here are some different foods. You can see all the pictures up there. I'm going to go through a couple of tips for these, starting with the clementines. So what I like to do, I put a little bit of a starting point. Like I rip the top of the clementine a little bit, and I have the kids go ahead and peel it. This is excellent for them to start understanding gentleness. It gives them instant feedback. If they are too rough on that clementine, their finger instantly goes into the fruit and it gets damaged. So allowing them to kind of have that self-control and be able to work on those self-regulation skills is huge. Now, what I like to do, I give them 2 separate bowls. I find that when we're doing these types of activities, having very clear directions is key. So I will say, okay, here is a bowl to put your peels in, and here is a plate to put the finished fruit on after it is peeled and segmented. And then I typically give them a third challenge. Whenever we're preparing food, I do not want them eating the food until we get to the table. So again, this is another piece of self-regulation that is excellent to put on the child. Bananas. So when you are having your child peel a banana, the easiest way to have them start is by starting from the bottom of the banana. Pinch the bottom, squeeze it together, and pull it apart. Hard-boiled eggs, this is one of my favorite. If you have a picky eater, this is actually super duper fun and could open them up to the idea of trying the food. We like to use some baking soda and oil in the water while they are boiling. This does help the shell to release easier. And the biggest tip I have is to peel this underwater. Take a bowl, put it at like lukewarm water, and have the child take the egg, crack it on the counter to where the entire egg has cracks all over it, and then have them put their hands in the egg all the way underneath the water and start peeling it. This does a couple of things. One, they get a great sensory experience just by having the cold egg in the warm water in the wet water. And then as they're peeling that egg, they have the hard bits of shell and the very smooth surface of the egg. So there's so much contrast there. Again, they're practicing so much gentleness too, not to bust through the egg and damage it, and really focusing on picking those pieces off. And because they're peeling it under the water, you're not getting pieces, like little tiny pieces of shell stuck to the egg anymore. Those will fall off and sink to the very bottom of the bowl. Just again, helping to give them that feeling of accomplishment. I'm going to focus on the cheese and yogurt at the same time. This is really about the packaging. I feel like we do our kids a terrible disservice by opening everything for them all the time. They are capable. They really are. Yes, they have to build strength, so we might have to start it for them. But how great is this that we can start working on it early so that way when they go to school, now they're able to open their string cheese on their own. They're able to open their applesauce that you pack them on their own. Now, some skills. Now, there are so many different things. This is a very small list of all the things that we're working on, but I want to just point out a couple of these. The first is the finger, hand, and wrist strength. So when we are tearing things, picking little items, pulling things apart, these are all super important because they're building very tiny, tiny muscles within their hands and fingers. If these muscles are underdeveloped, they will have problems with handwriting. So we do want to make sure that we are working on these things. Same things like with working with scissors really early, all the same. We're trying to build those hand muscles. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the self-regulation and self-control piece. Now, we are asking them a lot, at least I do. I ask them, please do not eat the food until the task is complete. This also teaches them this is hard work. It's hard, and there is a reward at the end of it. We don't have to do special rewards. The reward is the food in itself. So I really like being able to have that, not natural consequences, but that natural element to it as, hey, you worked hard, then you get to eat the food once it's complete, allowing them to wait a little bit. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is cutting. So cutting food. This example with the bananas, we'll start with that one. If you saw the live video, there's an exact how-to for that. If not, again, let me know and I can get you the recording. The strawberries. Okay, so I want to talk about this because you can definitely allow them to cut those leaves off with your help and then cut the fruit into pieces. You can slice this, you can quarter it. I like that there's different things that you can do. One thing I like to do is have them actually pick off the green part of the stem first and then go through and cut. Again, it's just an extra skill that you're able to throw in on that food item. Zucchinis, I love cooking zucchini for our family, so we do this quite often. I give it to them already with the front and the back cut off and cut in half. That way there is a flat surface. This is one that they typically do need a little bit more help with. It is a harder vegetable, but certainly not as hard as something like a potato. So not super difficult, but definitely up there in the difficulty level, especially compared to something like our next food, the watermelon. So this is probably my favorite when you're first starting out, just because it really is so soft. Cut the rind off and have them pick the black seeds out. Again, that picking motion, being able to really develop those fine motor skills are important. But then, yes, sit back, relax, let them cube the fruit, and work hard on that. And then blackberries. So we love blackberries just because it makes us messy. I think that's pretty much my kid's favorite part. Now, when talking about that, I know your kids might not be like that. So from a sensory experience, some kids have a really hard time getting sticky, having their fingers, dyed with blackberry juice. So these are really important activities to start early and often, just to give your kiddo that reassurance that yes, you're messy, but there's time to clean up, and we will get you cleaned up once the task is complete. Okay, so spreading. So we're going to talk about all sorts of different things that you can spread, but honest to goodness, toast is one of my best friends. I love toast because you can put just about anything on it, and it takes a beating a little bit to our toddlers. Untoasted bread, it really just rips too easily. So I like to spread all sorts of different things on toast. You can read the list there. But if you're looking for some healthy options, think about mashing up fruit. So just straight up mashing strawberries, mashing bananas. And yes, they can do that too. I didn't put that as an action, but give them a fork, have them mash. That's great from a pressure standpoint. But yes, have them spread all of these things. I do like to start teaching this with a knife and having them spread it, but there are times and there are days when they want to help, and I want them to help, but I'm also just really trying to get things done, and I don't have the time that it takes at that moment to make sure that they are using the knife properly. So if that's the case, I will actually give them the back of a spoon. It works excellently, especially on tortillas. Back of a spoon with some softened butter, they can help prepare those for quesadillas for dinner. Now, the skill I want to talk about for this one, again, all the previous ones apply, but is wrist mobility. You may be surprised when you first start teaching your child how to spread things that all of a sudden their wrist turns into a board. It's almost like they forget that it can bend. I like to use the hand over hand technique just to really get that wrist moving and reminding them that it does have a fluidity to it. But again, if you need to start using the back of a spoon, please do that as well. Just get that wrist moving and bending from side to side, up and down, um, as they spread all of these different things on their toast and tortillas. All right, so washing. This is pretty self explanatory, but just really a good reminder that we do have to wash all of our fruits and vegetables, so why not have our toddlers do it? It's a great experience for them. Most of them love playing in water, anyways. A couple tips for me: put a towel between the sink and your toddler. Just that's where the water goes. So just save yourself the trouble. If you do want to increase the skill, think about getting a small brush, having them scrub it. My kids love to clean things with brushes. I don't even care if it's the concrete outside; they just think it's great. So use this time to get them to clean your fruit and vegetables very well. And don't skip the drying. Drying is a very critical attention to detail skill for them. They're using two hands to do these things, and again, they're practicing gentleness so they don't squash the different um, fruits and veggies that you have. So take a look at all of those things. I hope that these were helpful. I know this was a little bit lengthy, but I did want to just go through all of it in detail. Here's some other jobs and ideas that your child can be doing to assist you with meal times and in the kitchen. If you have watched this all the way through, your child can actually prepare an entire meal by themselves. If you have worked on all of these different skills. So when I say that, they can take toast, they can put it in the toaster. They can take it out of the toaster. We have toaster tongs, but beside the point. They can take it out of the toaster. They can spread their peanut butter. They can crack their eggs, peel them under the water, slice it with an egg slicer if you have one. If not, they can practice using their little knife. Take a banana, peel it by themselves, cut it, and put it all on their plate, walk it over, and have breakfast. So these skills are so very important. I hope that you guys will give your toddlers jobs because although they might seem like chores to us and that has such a negative connotation to it, they want to be involved. So let's let them. Now, this next section is going to be over safety and rhymes. This is by far the longest video, so if you made it this far, thank you so much. Hopefully you got something out of it. Join us for the next two videos. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.